Chapter 5. Sherlock barks, howls, and spins in a circle. I pull away and laugh, then tell Gavin, he's saying, you kissed a one-legged girl who's pushing around a wheelchair with potting soil on it. He looks at Sherlock. And she kissed me back. He turns to me and he's smiling. Really smiling. So, does this mean you don't think I'm annoying? I shake my head, and as we start walking toward my house, I let him push the wheelchair and tell him, I've actually been trying hard not to like you. Besides, I was sure you had a thing for Fiona. For Fiona? He lets that sink in. No wonder you were always ditching me. So we talk and catch up and confess all sorts of silly things. And when we're on my street, he says, so is this wheelchair thing to build up your strength? Running with this would not be easy. No, well, yeah, I guess so. I shake my head a little. I just had this idea, but now I don't think it'll work. So what's the idea? And in that moment, I decide to tell him. You know Rosa, right? Of course. Well, she lives around the corner from me. On Marigold? Okay. It's a long story, but she sits out on her porch in the mornings and sees me run by. I go back and talk to her, and, well, she asks me about running a lot. Why I do it, what it feels like, and she has this thing about the finish line. About the finish line? What do you mean? I don't know exactly, but she's very philosophical about it. I think she sees it as this amazing moment, one she'll never experience. He raises an eyebrow at the wheelchair. So you want to get her over a finish line? I don't know. First I thought about just taking her on my loop, but then the idea grew into maybe I could do the river run with her in November. Kiro had the team volunteer last year during cross-country. We handed out cups of Gatorade and water at the mile stations, and there were wheelchair racers and lots of people running for causes. I shrug. I thought it would be the perfect run for Rosa. That's a 10-mile run, he says quietly. I know, but it's the only one around here. I frown. But after today, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I eye the wheelchair. That's maybe 25 pounds? Rosa's small, but she's got to weigh close to 100. I shake my head. I didn't even make it 2 miles. But this was your first try? When I nod, he adds, and look at this wheelchair. It's a toy compared to some of the ones I've seen. Maybe if you had a chair with bigger wheels, one that was designed for racing. We're standing at my walkway now. I love the serious look on his face, how he's trying to find ways to make this work. And how long have you been running again? A month? Not quite. See? Like you've even had a chance to build up your own strength? I think about this for a moment. So, don't throw in the towel? Give it a chance. He thinks too, then asks, does she know about this? Rosa? No, I haven't told anyone. I wanted to see if it was even possible. He smiles and reaches out for my hand. So you want to try again tomorrow? I'll meet you here at, 6? Are you serious? He pulls me in closer. Sure. I laugh and I smile and I look into his eyes and see my little idea blooming inside him. Suddenly I feel stronger, like maybe this isn't so crazy. In this moment, anything seems possible. Chapter 6. After Gavin leaves, I run inside to call Fiona. But there's a slight problem. My dad has seen everything. He doesn't say this exactly, but from the arch of his eyebrow and his position in the family room, I know he has. I face him, wondering how to explain. The boy, the wheelchair, the potting soil. There's a lot to explain. But I'm feeling really happy, and what's to hide? So I sit down and start. First with the boy. His name is Gavin Vance. He's the one who wrote that newspaper article about me. I've had a crush on him for ages. This is received with a single nod, one of cautionary approval. And then, being in a heady, sharing sort of mood, I explain the wheelchair, the potting soil, and Rosa like it's all perfectly normal. There's no nod for this part, just a knit brow and a dubious frown. My mom enters the room and asks what's going on, and after Dad and I exchange looks, I explain everything all over again. The part about Rosa and the river run doesn't actually sink in because she's completely fixated on Gavin. So, is he your boyfriend? I don't know. I give a little laugh and a shrug. But we have a date to go running with a wheelchair and potting soil tomorrow at 6 a.m.? She asks. I grin. Yup. Does that count as a date? I shrug. It does to me. She looks to Dad for his opinion, but Dad's been thinking about something else. The wheelchair. I don't want to say you'll never make it 10 miles with your friend in that wheelchair, but it'll be slightly less impossible if you let me put some better wheels on it. And I'm sure she'd appreciate a more comfortable seat. Huh? My brain shifts from Gavin to the river run. Really? That would be great. He nods. Let me talk to Ed at the bike barn, get his advice. I'll be out that way on a job this morning. I go over and hug him. You are the best. I pull back and look at him. I don't tell you that enough, do I? I hug him again. Tight. You are the best. Well, he says, and he's smiling. I like the mood this Gavin fella has put you in, that's for sure. He kisses me on the temple and says, Now I'd better get to work. Mom walks him out, and before she can return to cross-examine me, I've escaped to my room with my cell phone. News like this can't wait for a reasonable hour. I've got to talk to Fiona.